A lot of people hate these players right now, but what if I told you by looking at the analytics that there's some meat left on the bone when it comes to players being dropped to the waiver wire, that people are making drastic mistakes? We're going to be looking at those players right now today to mine some value, to look at what the market is doing. Before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We look at the waiver wire harder than anybody else, especially for those deep leaguers. I'm like your only true resource in these YouTube streets. On top of that, I'm helping you set your lineups with rankings and looking at every single NFL game, breaking it down. And then we're deep diving every single trending player with the You Need series. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. We're here for you. Ric Flair's here for you. And you don't want to disappoint Ric Flair. But the running backs here that are trending down. Hassan Haskins, that makes sense after last week. Chris Rodriguez, we can definitely see the workload decreasing in the backfield. Ja'Cory Crosky merit season. Michael Carter has not been able to get it done. Justice Hill, back up to Derrick Henry, getting work in the passing game. Jaden Blue, that is a running back prospect that might be misunderstood by fantasy football. Same with Basil Tuten. Same with Ollie Gordon. And then Brian Robinson, the backup, the handcuff, the Christian McCaffrey. Some of these players are getting dropped due to other pickups, other needs. And then also, people are not realizing they may need a stash. They may need a handcuff for the future. Jaden Blue's being misunderstood right now because he's more of a hodl running back prospect that you just hold and you don't really expect to use, but you're using that last place on your bench just in case, and it could be any week, any moment. He has 4.3 speed, a lot of upside here, 4.38, 40-yard dash at the combine, and you're looking at a running back here that's good in the passing game, that is very raw, that has not hit to his upside out of high school. However, if you were looking at him to start anytime soon, he should not be on your roster. You shouldn't roster him. He's not for you. He's just not. If you got deeper benches, or if you got a spot, if you like the prospect profile, if you're in a 14-team league or higher, or if you're just using him just in case because you got Javonte Williams, or if you want a hodl running back because you're looking at the stashes and you're like, okay, I kind of want to just shoot for more upside, then this would be your play. So they're right to return him to the waiver wire if he's not for them because they need production now due to the bye weeks, injuries. They're wrong if they identify him as a player that should be hitting right now because that's not the type of player he is. He's a long-term stash and hold. You have to realize what these players are when you're rostering them. Basil Tuten's the handcuff to Travis Etienne. If I got Travis Etienne and I got the spot for him, I got Basil Tuten because if I lose Travis Etienne, Basil Tuten's the next man up. Everybody will dump the fab on him. You want one or two fab busters on the back end of your bench. They're not supposed to be hitting right away. They are insurance policies. Insurance policies aren't always meant to be used, but when you have to use them, they are rather nice. That's why you look at Basil Tuten. You do not look at him to be used now, tomorrow, next week, 3 weeks from now. It's just if you need to, you got him. You look at the waiver wire. You got a lot of ho-hum wide receivers there, and you got a lot of running backs like Basil Tuten anyways, like Ollie Gordon. Same thing. And now there's rumors that Devin Achane might get traded to the Seahawks. Doesn't make sense. But again, the Dolphins about to blow it up. They're about to fire their coach, and things are going to change. And Ollie Gordon sitting here getting released back to the waiver wire with a lot of upside. And now he's a break glass scenario. He's a snap away. He's a trade away, just like Basil Tuten. Now, if you have him on your roster and you're expecting fantasy production, you want the player to be worked in and out of your flex spot, those two running backs aren't good for you. You shouldn't have them. They're not for you. But if you got the space to hold, to hodl, and to stash, this is the type of player you should be looking at because he is a play away, former Doak Walker Award winner, has a lot of upside, You need to be stashing somebody that last roster spot that you're casually using. You might have used like once out of this whole year, is made for the stash play, because you're not winning any leagues with that last spot unless you're stashing a player that gets anointed and blows up. More often than not, that last spot ain't doing nothing, so you might as well pick up a player that's not doing nothing, that has a lot of potential to do a lot of something. Brian Robinson here. He's the cuff to Christian McCaffrey. That's about it. Not productive right now. Worth stashing, but that's it. He's not valued in lineups, but he is also valued as the cuff to Christian McCaffrey. If I see him on the waiver wire, I got Christian McCaffrey. I might pick him up if I'm not blasted by bye weeks and injuries. Brian Robinson will have some upside in this offense if Christian McCaffrey goes down. Plus, everybody will be dropping the fab. Everybody will be going after him. Everybody will be looking at him as their potential league winner if that happens. Looking at the wide receivers, the wide receiver position on the waiver wire is always a mess. There's potential there every given Sunday for a guy to get 5 to 6 targets, and you're hoping they score the touchdown, but never or rarely that player that will blow up and be a league winner for the next 5 to 10 weeks out of the season. You're not looking at those type of assets. When you're looking at these wide receivers, a lot of these guys caught some buzz for a few weeks, and now they're getting dropped. Tyquan Thornton's my favorite one here because he's a good bullet in the chamber on any given Sunday to throw in your flex. Close your eyes and pray that he hits. Jerry Jeudy, if they make a switch at quarterback and they light him up and target him, he might hit. Outside of that, I understand dropping him. Keon Coleman is a guy that's very volatile. Malik Washington did not hit to the hype. He just did not. There was a lot of hype with him. I said, hey, this is a short target merchant. He either needs to rack up touchdowns or a shit ton of catches. Darius Slayton has been banged up. Tyquan Thornton, though, he should be rostered, but in the correct way. Like, he should be used for lineups in dire situations. When you're looking at his ADOT, 23.92, which is elite. He's only getting deep targets downfield. He's not getting a lot of targets. 4.167 targets per game. Target share 12%. He is going to be a guy, even with Rashee Rice back, he'll probably see around 3 to 4 targets a game still. That's going to get the deep ball downfield. You bring in that deep ball, you're probably going to get a big performance in fantasy football. You don't bring it in or it doesn't happen, you're not. And you have to understand that in dire situations, wide receivers like this are valuable. They're valuable in daily fantasy football. They're random hitters. He'll probably still hit a few more games this season. And if you're in a bind, if you're in a pinch, if you're hit up with injuries and bye weeks and you're that bad off, he has a high probability with the average depth of target to hit probably like 3 more games this season. But if you can't play Russian roulette like that, and you'd rather just chase that wide receiver off the waiver wire, who's projected probably get you 9, 10, 11 fantasy points, getting 4 to 5 targets, but they're shorter. You can project it out better, and you're just going to pray they score a touchdown, or you'll just take that 9, 10 points, say, screw it, take that L, or hopefully someone else in your lineup hits, then he's definitely not for you, because he can definitely get you a 0 or 3 or 4 on any given Sunday. But he also has the ability to hit it big. Keon Coleman's the same way, but different. His ADOT's at 10. He's getting 5.8 targets a game. He's got an 84% route participation rate. He's getting a lot of work. Targets in the last 2 games, 7 and 6. We got a bye week, then Carolina on the road. This could actually be a sneaky pickup for you if he's sitting there on the waiver wire. He's hated because he's not scoring. He's just not. He's hit in 2 weeks. He's actually really hit for 1 and hit the fairway on another, and that's it. And like I said, going into the season, he's one of those wide receivers that's either getting you 25 or 5, nothing in between. We're kind of seeing that right now. That's exaggerated. Like, he can get you 18, 19, 20, but you get what I'm saying. He's boom or bust. That is what you're getting here at wide receiver. Some of you guys hate that. Some of you guys don't want that. You don't know when to start him. You don't know if it's ever going to pan out for you. He hits on your bench, but not your lineup. However, some of you guys love that. You chase the matchups. You put him in. you're in a dire situation, you throw in a wide receiver like that, you see what happens. We get red zone looks, we get red zone opportunities here, especially when the ball's in the air in the right matchups. Some of you guys want that, and you understand the risk with that. You have a higher risk tolerance. If you have a low risk tolerance, this is not the wide receiver for you. Darius Slayton, same light as the other two wide receivers. He's going to get a high average depth of target. He hasn't been practicing. He's been banged up. If he's out there, he might be a pickup for big plays. We do not know how he's going to be implemented with Dart, really. We don't have a large sample of that. Jalen Hyatt by proxy would be the next man to look at. That's more for deeper leagues, but by proxy, he's the next wide receiver to pay attention to in those regards. But looking at the tight ends here, it makes sense. Tight end is a very fickle position. There's really like a handful of them that you really want in fantasy football, but it just makes sense as you go down the list here and you're looking at tongues here and we're getting volume, but George Kittle's back. You might pick him up if you need him, and Kittle is out this week, but Kittle looks like he's coming back, limited in practice. We're watching the practice reports. People are reacting rather quickly, plus the tight end spot. He could have been a lot of people's tight end too, which I do not approve of having two tight ends in one tight end leagues, unless you had Kittle and you couldn't move him anywhere, and now you just had to get another guy. Injury, context, other context, of course. But healthy context of all your players, one tight end start leagues, keep it at that in onesie positions. Mark Andrews. Now the big question here, are we dust or are we going to come back? 10.4 PPR fantasy points in the last year and a half on average per game. You're looking at that. You're looking at the route participation rate. It's all right. We're running 20-some routes per game. Quarterback plays hell right now. We're waiting for Lamar Jackson to come back. He could be a pickup for you, but against the tight end spot, I'm not looking at him for the short term. I'm just waiting for better information, plus week 7 bye. So you might be looking at him as a stash and hold if you're that dire at tight end and you want to pay attention to see if this offense gets better or for worse. That's one thing you want to pay attention to. But right now on the season, he's got one tight end 1 week, one tight end 2 week. Last year, he did not fire until week 6. Now we lost a quarterback this year. That has a big impact. So it could change once that changes. So there is a variable at play. However, at the tight end spots, now that we got Waller back and some other tight ends that are starting to produce that you can play money ball with, maybe you lean away from this. He is also rostered in 75% of leagues, but he's also starting to get dropped a lot considering he's not producing and he's on bye this week when you're looking at his numbers here for fantasy football. But those are the guys that are trending down right now per sleeper. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.